Hey everybody, this is Cameron from Obnoxious and Anonymous, and welcome to another Twin Peaks Thought of the Day. Today's Thursday, August 27th, 2020. Now, I wasn't actually going to do a Twin Peaks Thought of the Day video today, but something did come across my desk last night, and I wanted to kind of bring attention to it, and so I figured what better way than to do one of these videos, especially since it has to do a bit with the Twin Peaks fan community. And that is, last night I was poking around on Twitter and I saw a couple people put out a tweet in support of somebody. Now I couldn't see the tweet they were, I could see their tweet, but I couldn't see what tweet they were supporting. That usually means either sensitive material or unblocked from somebody. And that's what it turned out being. It was a post made by somebody who I've never actually spoken with, conversed with, got a message from. I don't believe I know I've never talked to this person one time, but this person has blocked my personal account as well as my O&A account. So I must have really ticked this person off somehow. I'm not sure how. Presumably it has to do with, I said something about somebody they're friends with, right? So they, it's just the way it is on social media. But it got me curious as to what this tweet was, because, if you can't see it, you want to know, especially since people seem to be overly concerned. So I did some maneuvering and was able to pull up the tweet, and what I saw just profoundly moved me, and that is this comes from, and I'm going to say the Twitter account, not because I want you guys to pressure this person like, why'd you block Cameron? This person doesn't even know who I am, or I'm sure they're aware of who I am, but they don't know me. So I don't think it's personal. However, I'm bringing it up because of the nature of this situation. So the name is @TwinPeaksBlog. Now, first, when I saw that Twin Peaks Blog had blocked me, I thought, well, did I do something to Stephen? Because, Stephen Miller, not the Stephen Miller from Donald Trump's administration, but the Stephen Miller in the Twin Peaks fan community. He has a Twin Peaks blog, which is one of the great Twin Peaks websites, if not the best one currently running. I was like, what would I do to Stephen? But it turned out it wasn't Stephen. He has a Twin Peaks blog, but he's not at Twin Peaks blog. This is by a young woman named Maya Pamela, I believe her name is. Again, someone who I've never talked with, never conversed with. However, I am a sucker for animals. I love animals. I grew up with cats and dogs, and those were primarily the main animals I grew up with. But I just wanted to bring to your attention this campaign that is currently taking place, because I know a bunch of you out there are softies as well. And so I look, regardless of whatever people say, whether they like me or don't like me or whatever, I'm a good person. I have a big heart. Whether they want to acknowledge that or not, that's on them. I'm letting you know that I care about people. Whether you like me or you don't like me, I care about you. I really do. So let me pull this up. Teddy needs an MRI. Now, I'm going to put the link. This is the GoFundMe link right here. So any of you would like to contribute, please go ahead. And of course, this will be up on the YouTube channel. So I do hope that if you come to this video later, you'll be able to access this. Right now, she is currently trying to reach a $3,000 goal. She currently has $1,299. Last night, she had, after my contribution, $1,279. So she's only made $20 in the last day, which is a shame. That's why I'm also doing this video. So let's hear what Maya writes. My beloved dog, Teddy, started having seizures this summer. After several trips to the vet, extensive blood work, thyroid, and liver tests, the vet feels Teddy is having a problem in his brain. It is possibly a tumor or something else, but he needs an MRI ASAP to be diagnosed properly. An MRI costs an average of $2,500 to $3,000. Unfortunately, I don't have pet insurance, and he is too old with pre-existing conditions to qualify now. I have already spent over $2,000, and I'm running out of money because these are desperate times, obviously. I'm desperate to help him, so that's why I've decided to start this fundraiser. Teddy is 11 years old and in very good health otherwise. With proper treatment, he should have some good time left in his life. However, without treatment, he may only have a few months. My heart is breaking at the thought of losing him. If you could find it in your heart to help him and or share this fundraiser, I would be eternally grateful. So I donated last night. I also made a tweet about it, but not everybody follows me on Twitter. I know a lot more follow me on YouTube. So I figured I would bring this to your attention. And if you guys can throw out $1, $5, $10, anything to help her get to this goal, I'm sure she would gladly appreciate it. Yeah, Teddy needs an MRI. I know how I've never been in a situation where I've had to take an animal to the vet because of cancer. Or that my animals either have just passed away or they just ran away or something like that. I understand this is a horrible situation, and especially in these times where you're kind of stuck inside a good portion of the time now. Teddy probably became even more important than ever before. So I can only imagine the worry and the hurt that is going through Maya's head and heart at the moment. So I wanted to bring it to your attention, and maybe you guys can help chip in, because she does she's a big part of the Twin Peaks fan community on Twitter, at least. I'm not sure about the other social media pages, but again, someone I never conversed with, someone I never talked to, someone who did has me blocked, but that doesn't mean we can't still care about this person and help them out if we can. So, all right, there it is. I'm going to, like I said, I didn't have a plan to do a show, Twin Peaks Star of the Day today, but that's why I decided to just do it as an open discussion. So if you have any comments, questions, whatever, throw it out in the chat, and I will do my best to address them. Okay, so let's go to who's here? Oh, Todd is here. Hello, Todd. This is very much like not Reading Rainbow. What was it? Not Romper Room. I can't remember. The one where she's always looking through the mirror and she's like, I see you and I see you, I see you. Wilton is here. Hello. Ryan is here. Hello, Ryan. Al85 is here. Hello. Nikki's here. Hello. SK says, nice catching you live again. Hello. Thank you. Don't understand why people have an issue with you. I consider you to be one of the most sincere and authentic personalities I've ever encountered via the web. Well, thank you very much. I'm aware that people could have issues with me, mostly because I kind of just put it out there. And some people, don't like that. I get it. So, I'm either somebody, this has always happened to me my entire life. I'm either, one of your best friends, you could ever have, who's completely loyal and there for you through thick and thin, or you consider me to just be, a nuisance or annoying. I don't know. It's always followed me my whole life. I've always been who I am to everybody. It's just that, when BS comes my way, I do have a tendency to not put up with it and call it out. And that sometimes gets me in trouble, not only with the people that I'm calling out, but also their support system as well. So it's fine. It is what it is. But I'm going to leave this up while we are discussing Twin Peaks today, and hopefully we can get maybe get some updates here. So far, the total is still $12.99. Maybe we can get it a little bit higher while we're doing today's show. All right, so if you have any comments or questions, throw it out in the chat. Otherwise, this is going to be a relatively fast video because I do not want to just be sitting around here twiddling my thumbs. However, let me just take a second here, and I believe, if I can quote Snow White and Mirror Mirror. Aha! Cool. Let me just bring this back down for a second. Aha! I am so happy that I was able to re-get this. So I had this a long time ago, and of course, stupidly, I sold it when the gold box came out because I'm like, well, why do I need season 1? You know, when I'm gonna get the seasons 1 and 2. This is before the Blu-ray set came out that included Fire Walk With Me and the missing pieces. So I got rid of it. However, what's really ironic is that this season 1 DVD set is actually like better quality than the gold box season 1, because instead of 3 or 4 episodes on a disc, there are only 2 episodes on a disc, and there are actual audio commentaries on here from the directors of the individual episodes, which were never ported over to the gold box, the Blu-ray set, as far as I'm aware. I mean, I could be wrong, but I do not think that those commentaries were ever ported over. So I've always wanted to get this again, but it was, you know, it was pricey. But I managed to find a copy of this on eBay. Are you ready for this? Excellent condition, $6 with free shipping. So that means I basically got it for free. So let's open it up, shall we? Oh, yes. Oops, there we go. Cool. First season. And the back of the box is shots from what I think is really funny is you know, these are all shots from you know, these are the pilot. Here is a shot of Cooper with Annie from season 2 that they're using. Now, Artisan never put out a season 2 set. The season 2 set actually just Paramount ended up getting it, and then they put out a season 2 set, and then I don't think anybody really bought it because the gold box set was going to come out shortly thereafter. But let's open this up. Cool. Like, even with the gold box, I think this is a pretty nice set anyway. So, and let's see, we got nice little booklet here. And okay, so there's Cooper and Annie there, even though this is season 1. And then there's a big interview with Cheryl Lee on here. First disc has Cooper and Truman on it from the pilot with them with the deer head. And then what's really funny is that there's all these pictures. Like, here's these pictures of Josie and Catherine and Truman and Cooper. You know, they're from the pilot, and the pilot is not included in this set. This is before they that was the big thing about the gold box set, right? Was that the pilot was going to be included, not just the international pilot, but the actual like television pilot. So let's see, who do we got on here? And then we have, what is it, Ed and James, and then Cooper and Nadine. So yeah, but I think it's really funny they have all these Cooper Annie pictures in here, and she doesn't come in until season 2. So anyway, I do think that this cover is gorgeous. I wish this was the cover of the Blu-ray box set, actually. But yeah, so if you are a Twin Peaks collector, I wouldn't get the Paramount season 2 set because there was like no extras on that whatsoever. But if you can get this Artisan season 1 set, great picture, great sound, and commentaries. Let's see what else they included on here. Newly remastered high definition transfers, full screen version, DTS digital surround, 5.1 Dolby Digital. Select episode analysis by the directors. new in-depth interviews with cast and crew, including Mark Frost and television experts, optional log lady introductions, which we've gotten poured over, script notes, official guide to the unseen Twin Peaks, rare archival material from Wrapped in Plastic, the official Twin Peaks magazine. Now is Blue Rose magazine the official Twin Peaks magazine, or is it still Wrapped in Plastic? I don't know. 336 minutes and 1990. Wow, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. So cool. So that all right. Let's see. We got about 24 people watching right now. Hello, hello, hello. Jamie's here. Hey, everyone. Hope you're all well. You too. Let me pull Teddy's MRI page back up. SK says, how could you ever be a nuisance? You're a walking encyclopedia of all things Twin Peaks and Lynch. I don't know. I mean, I don't ever purposely set out to be a nuisance. I just, you know, some people just take me that way, I guess. Jacob says, Twin Peaks and The Sopranos were the first shows I ever binge watched, and by binge watch, I mean rented each season individually at the video store. You can tell it is the pilot because of Fenn's hair. Absolutely. Nikki says, I picked that up at a local DVD shop for £4 and it looked like it has never been used. Probably not, but it's a good find. It's a good find. Jamie says that has an awesome cover. It does. It absolutely does. So anyway, like I said, throw out any comments and questions and I'll address them. In the meantime, if you have an extra dollar or two, please go to this GoFundMe site that I have on the page and help out a fellow Twin Peaks community fan member. Their dog is not feeling well, and it would probably make them feel really good to get them over that $1,300 bump there. So Channel 0X is here, throws out the season 3 quote that Lynch says, I saw myself from long ago. So hello, Channel 06 or 6X. Good to see you. And Landoris is here. It says, hey, hello. Good to see you as well. So yeah, so I'm basically here. So anything you guys want to talk about, let's do it. Throw it out now. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap this up. Ruben is here. Says, I'm here, all in caps. He was thinking we were doing secret videos last night and was getting all upset. So, Ruben, I assure you we were not doing secret videotaping behind anyone's back last night. But I'm glad you're able to make it today. So, and while you guys are all doing that, I'm going to say, listen, if you guys are not following us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, please do. Let's get those numbers up. Also, if you are not already a Patreon supporter of this channel, it would really mean a lot. Seriously, it's $1 a month minimum. You can do whatever you'd like to do. But if every person on this channel, if every person subscribed to this channel threw out $1 a month to our Patreon, we'd be able to do O&A full time. So you wouldn't just catch us here and there. We would literally be on like every day from like, I don't know what, 8 a.m. to 10 o'clock at night, like every day. How amazing would that be? So you can help make that happen, actually. So make sure to go to our Patreon page, and everything's in the link box below. But still, here's our header as well. But yeah, please do follow us on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter as well. You can follow the Obnoxious Anonymous Twitter or my personal one, or both. It's free, so why not? All right, so we do have some comments here. Joey says, so many secret videos. Yes, there's so many secrets. Mr. Cooper, you did not know Laura Palmer. Well, maybe we can hack into her YouTube page and we'll find out a little bit about Laura Palmer. Anyway, it's good to see Joey here. Joey, I'm not sure what's going on in your world, but I will send you, and actually I'm going to send you and Jamie the chat. I'm going to send you guys the link just in case you guys want to come in for a few minutes. Just so that I'm not sitting here all by my lonesome. If you can make it, great. If not, that's cool. Hopefully you are all having a good day. I really should be editing Queen of Hearts right now, but it's just been a wild week, and with the conventions going on, my brain is in a whole other space. Joey says, I'm about to order Chinese food, but I have time. There's always time for a Twin Peaks video. Jamie says, secret videos, how scandalous. Well, Jamie, a lot of people do think it's scandalous when I put up a video and then take it down afterwards. They all think I'm up to something, saying horrible, nasty, terrible things about people and then deleting them, which is so not true. But let them think what they want to think. But anyway, yes, I'm going to check in on Teddy's fundraiser here. Let's get it to at least still at $12.99. No one has a single dollar to get it to $1,300. Come on, folks. Come on. We can't just let it be sitting at the 1,200 mark for 24 hours. That's very sad. Teddy needs your help. Okay. Jamie says, I would love to, but I look terrible. Jamie, you could never look terrible. You know that. Still a bit sore from the root canal. Maybe next time. Well, I hope you feel better. Hang in there. And warm washcloths. That'll help. Landora says, okay, a Twin Peaks question. Why really is it so important for Cooper to save Laura? Why is it so important for her to live? Well, if you go by season 3, she is the balance that was created to battle Judy and the Black Lodge. Jacob says, I remember reading the cast list for season 3 and seeing Larry Clark on there. Wonder what happened with that. I do not believe it was the Larry Clark from Kids. I believe it was someone else. Ruben says, I'll see the vid. You'll see the vid. What does that mean? It's Laura. Is the hurricane hitting you right now? Is Laura the hurricane attacking your house right now? Please be safe out there, please. All right. Hello to all of you watching right now. If you have any comments or questions, throw it out in the chat, and we'll talk about it. Joey should be here any second, so you can ask us both a question. Jamie says we're under a tornado watch. Oh, that's horrible. We had a fire tornado up where I live. Well, not right here, but in the same state. Jacob says, oh, I thought it was the Larry Clark. That would have been awesome. No, the director of Bully, Ken Park, Another Day in Paradise, and Kids was not supposed to be in Twin Peaks season 3. Ruben says, I said it's Laura because that one person said, why does Laura have to live? Yes. David Lynch definitely has a thing for Laura Palmer. He's going to always make Twin Peaks about Laura Palmer. So yes, that is that is a factor. However, they do always tie it in. Landoris wants to know, why is it always about Laura Palmer? Well, it's because David Lynch likes the character Laura Palmer. That's basically it. So, I mean, even without her being in every episode, her image still began every episode. So, hello to all the people currently watching. Good to see you. We are talking Twin Peaks and also bringing attention to a crowdfunding for Maya's dog Teddy, who needs an MRI. Maya is Twin Peaks blog on Twitter. And so we're helping to bring attention to this as well. Jacob says Tom Sizemore and Matthew Lillard gave perhaps the most overlooked performances. I don't know. Matthew Lillard's performance was generally praised, so I don't think that was overlooked. Sizemore went the opposite way. Even though it was kind of over the top, it still wasn't. He did underplay the character as well. It's kind of an oxymoron, right? How do you be over the top and yet underplay the character? Well, he has a way of doing it because Tom Sizemore is a talented actor. Problems aside, personal problems aside, the guy has always been really good as an actor. I mean, we've liked him for years, and him playing Scagnetti in Natural Born Killers. Ruben says, what kind of dog is Teddy? I have no idea. You'd have to ask Maya. But he's got a cute little smile. Oh my. It's the man. The legend.
I don't know about that.
Oh, I do. So were you aware of this crowdfunding thing happening?
I had seen it really late last night, so I didn't really get to look into it, but I saw people passing the link around a little bit.
I literally had to log out of Twitter to see the post because I saw people posting about something, and I thought, like, oh my God, what happened, And so I had to log out of Twitter because I had been blocked from seeing the initial post. So I don't know Maya. I don't know who she is. I know I've seen her Twitter account, but we've never talked about anything, never had an encounter. But she had blocked my personal account and O&A. So I assumed it had something to do with some sort of fan community nonsense. But like I said, I don't have anything against this person. So when I was able to see her post and read about it, I'm a big softie, so I immediately made a contribution to her thing.
Oh, yeah.
And I posted about it, and but like I said, so many people are not following on Twitter and things like that. So these videos get views. So I really wanted to kind of bring attention to it because she still needs, according to her numbers, $1,700 more. So we need to bring some attention to it.
I will retweet as well.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I've never interacted with her, but
no, I remember. I remember seeing her Twitter account when the Queen of Hearts campaign was happening, and we were just tagging everybody in the community. You know what I mean? That's how I remember. But her name on Twitter, Twin Peaks blog, when I saw I was blocked from it, I was like, did Steven block me? Like, what? Because I thought it was Steven's site, the Twin Peaks blog.
Oh yeah.
But it's not. It wasn't his account. So I was like, what did I do to Steven? But anyway,
persona non grata here.
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't care if people hate me. I like people, so anyway. But anyways, I definitely wanted to bring attention to this because it's a cute dog, and I can't imagine, if you have a dog for, I don't know how old Maya is, but it seems like this dog has been with her for most of its life. So that's, good 11, 12 years. I mean, that's, it's like your best friend, right? So you definitely wouldn't just let your best friend just, you would do anything you could to save your best friend, right? So
sure, yeah.
Family member as well. Landora says, I'm wondering about what the giant said. This is all I'm allowed to say to Cooper. That indicates there is someone controlling him. Maybe God. When does he say this is all I'm allowed to say? Is that in season
do you mean in
two?
season 2? Yeah, I think
probably. Oh, and he says this is all I'm permitted to tell you.
Yeah.
Um,
I think I always interpreted that as like based on this point in time. Like you'll get the rest of the information later.
right.
But this is all I can tell you right now without intervening too much.
Yeah. I didn't really take it as like somebody has authority over him. It was more of like all in good time. The universe will only,
Yeah.
I've gotten permission to get you to this point. If I just, it's sort of like in The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings, right? It's like if we just hitch a ride with the eagle all the way to the mountain, we don't really like learn anything about ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
And they always talk about in Twin Peaks laying a path and laying one stone at a time, and you're still on the path. You don't need to know where it leads, just follow. Cooper has to be on. It's not necessarily the destination, it's the journey, which if you go by that rationale, then Lynch's idea of having the mystery of Laura Palmer's murder be never ending would make sense if it's all about the journey.
Mm-hmm.
But destinations are cool too, because destinations can open up new doors. So that's what I think happened is while yes, the Laura Palmer story did shut it off in many ways, the central mystery, it did open other doors.
Well, yeah, Lynch was like, okay, you're gonna say who killed her, but I'm gonna make Laura Palmer this complete other like celestial mystery that's beyond just being murdered, I guess. So now she's like this other thing.
She literally is Jesus at this point. She has been sent to Earth to save mankind. She's basically Kal-El. She's Superman and Jesus all wrapped together. That would have been amazing.
And Neo, yeah, she's all these things.
Yeah, I mean that would have been amazing if like they had done some Matrix stuff with Shirley in season 3. If she was like going up against Grace Zabriskie as Judy and just was like warping her body into like strength, that would be amazing.
Bullet time in Twin Peaks.
It would have been. I would have loved it. That would have been great.
Oops.
Let's see. Landor says Mike said he saw the face of God, so he seems to exist in the Twin Peaks world. Well,
I mean, angels also exist, but then it's like it's a different question. It's like, does God play on the same ground as everybody else? I mean, the firemen and Lady Dido and.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think you can just say that there's just heaven and hell existence in this thing. I mean, this show, it's like Hawk tells Cooper, you may be fearless in this world, but there are many worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So even if there is a God over this world, that doesn't mean that that's the same God for the entire universe. Who knows? I don't know what they're hinting at. I don't think they even thought about that, to be honest.
I mean, the Christian God, I think, in Twin Peaks universe has the high ground.
Well, I mean, Wilton says there's a chance that God would be the firemen or gods would be the inhabitants of the lodge. I mean, Cooper asked the one-armed man about the firemen, and he says he is known to us. So much so that the giant actually makes an appearance in the season 2 finale when Cooper's in the Black Lodge.
Mm-hmm.
So this imagery of him in season 3 in the Black Lodge that was shot, I guess, but never used, there is precedent for it because he was in the Black Lodge in season 2. I'm not quite sure what he's doing in season 3 in the Black Lodge. We don't really see I don't believe we see too much of that scene being shot. I think it was just probably a cutaway. I don't think it was like a full-on scene.
Yeah, no.
I think it was just Cooper turned around and he said something like "Great party, isn't it?" from The Shining or something like that. So I don't know, because he's all dressed up in like a red bathrobe and stuff.
Yeah, he's his cigar robe, like he was just smoking a little bit, and then Cooper popped in. Oh,
yeah,
time to work.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. It's pretty wild stuff there.
Would you say that Fire Walk with Me is a very like almost Christian movie in a lot of ways? There's like a lot of Christian themes.
Oh, absolutely. And in fact, it was kind of shocking in a way because Lynch is usually not that overtly religious in his films. And I mean, the angel portraits, the feeding the poor children at the table in the painting,
the music even was very like
the Requiem, right?
Yeah,
right. I mean, it's just like at the end of the movie, you feel like you just walked out of the Passion of Joan of Arc or something, Well, it says maybe Mike chopped his arm off because it's in the Bible. He who is ashamed of his eye or his arm, chop it off. I mean, like that's. I mean, it's definitely a possibility. I mean, they really didn't make it overt in the series.
Mm-hmm.
But there is the nature of God and heaven, potentially hell, in the series, because Cooper is, when Leland's dying, is talking to him about going to the light, and he kind of acts as like Leland's guide to help him cross over. And then Cooper uses that too in the next episode where he's talking to Sarah Palmer, and he says he comforts her by saying that Laura accepted him, that she forgave him.
Mm-hmm.
Tremendously moving scene.
Now that I think about it, why did Leland end up in the Black Lodge or the Lodge? Now that he wasn't wearing a ring or anything. Why did he end up there?
One, the ring wasn't even thought of as a concept in the original series. But
this is true.
But it's not even Leland in the Black Lodge in season 2 finale. It's his doppelganger, because he has the glassy eyes. Yeah,
but he's there in the return. Save Laura.
Right. Well, there's that. I'm talking about the original series when
Yeah.
So when the doppelganger says, "I did not kill anybody," it's like, yeah, he didn't kill anybody because the doppelganger's in there. So I don't know. It's I think they definitely like changed, refashioned it every time they came back to the material.
Yeah. That happens.
I mean, I do think that the explanation of the ring in season 3 and how you wear it, and then that gets you into the lodge, that's kind of like that makes a lot of sense, because Fire Walk with Me is very confusing at times with the ring. Like, are you supposed to take the ring? Are you not supposed to take the ring? What is going on here? And season 3 clarifies it, saying don't take the ring means if you put it on, you're going to the lodge.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of that was nice. I was like, thank you for clarifying that.
You're basically marrying yourself to whatever the lodge.
Right. And I know other people might say like, well, that made perfect sense to me, but it really didn't, because it's not even in the script. When Laura puts on the ring, that was a reshoot. That wasn't even initially filmed. So they did that close-up of her putting on the ring as a reshoot.
Oh.
So it wasn't a part of the initial concept. So they probably came up with that idea of like, okay, she has to put on the ring for her to get into the lodge. Otherwise, her in the lodge doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, she'd just die, and that'd be it.
That would be it. What a bummer. That dude says, I love that Ray ends up in the lodge. Yeah, that's the moment where you kind of realize when Mr. C puts the ring on Ray, and then he's in the lodge. That's when you kind of piece it together, like, oh, okay, That's why you got to put the ring on Mr. C, because it's going to send him back to the lodge.
That was almost like Godfather, like Horsehead. Like, yeah, this guy's dead. Look, I'm sending you a message. That scene is that's a great scene.
Yeah, it is a good moment. Let's see. Jamie says Leland was brushed by the wings of the demon. She's getting poetic here. Don't need a ring if you accept them inside. Adamo says no one has talked about this haunting scene at the very beginning of Dr. Jacoby getting his delivery. The POV, slow crackling trees in the woods nearby, someone overlooking, peering through.
I didn't catch that.
What? Getting his delivery. The POV was slow crackling trees in the woods, someone overlooking, peering through. Oh, you're talking about the golden shovel scene where he's getting that? Okay. I was thinking I thought he was talking about the beginning of episode 7 of season 1, when Mark Frost's season 1 finale, when Jacoby's in the bushes and there's somebody peering at him in the bushes. That, even though it's never explained, is Leland Palmer. Leland Palmer is the one that hits Jacoby in Easter Park. They never tell you, but it is.
Yeah, I figured.
It's the same coat and everything, you know.
I didn't notice anybody peering through there during that scene in The Return, though. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. It's probably someone on a cigarette break. Wilton says that's one confusing thing. Hawk said in season 2 that everyone will pass through the lodge. Not everyone who died in the show is seen in the lodge. No, it's not that everyone will pass through the lodge, right? I think it was the idea that if you go through the lodge, you have to confront your doppelganger. It's not that you have to go through the lodge in order to go through the other side.
Yeah, I think if you do go into the lodge, you have to, confront yourself with perfect courage or whatever, or else you won't get out.
Wilton says Ray was there, Maddie was there. Was the log lady there? No, because the log lady was never like.
Yeah, she never had anything to do with anything, really.
She wasn't a victim of them. I am shocked that Maddie was in there.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it was Maddie proper. I do think it was Maddie's doppelganger. Because when she comes out, she's just like, I'm Maddie. And we never really see a close-up of her, but you can kind of tell just by her movements that she's not Madeline Ferguson, who's like this kind of nerdy cousin. She's like always
adjusting her glasses and stuff.
Yeah, she comes out without her glasses, and she's in this gorgeous dress, and she's actually kind of wearing Laura Palmer's black dress. So
doppelganger or early Tulpa.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Lynch was just having fun, just kind of bringing people back.
Yeah, that's definitely what it was.
I don't think what it was. I don't think they really thought about who was in the lodge and who was in the lodge. I think it was just like, hey, who's still around? Let's have some fun. Hey, we got Cheryl here doing Laura. Let's have her do Maddie. It's kind of.
That's definitely what it was for real.
Oh, absolutely. Let's see. Twin Peaks Coffee Time says a doppelganger is the same thing as a tulpa.
I don't necessarily agree.
No, because a doppelganger is your opposite side. A tulpa is a created person.
Yeah.
It's like if you confront the good part of you or the bad part of you, that is your doppelganger. A tulpa would be like making an android, like a blade, like Blade Runner or something like that.
It's a replicant. Yeah,
it is a replicant. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. Jacob says, do you think Red killed the guy who was supposed to meet Andy to inform him about Richard killing the kid? I always was under the belief that it was. You want to know my honest answer to that is, I could care less. I've really even never thought about it, because I don't think we were even supposed to think about it.
Yeah, that kind of didn't go anywhere.
Twin Peaks Coffee Time says Mark Frost said a doppelganger and a tulpa were the same. I'd have to see that quote. I'd have to see the context of that
Source,
quote.
please.
No, I mean James, I'm sure is saying something correct there, but Mark Frost also tells us that that people were born on certain dates and things like that when they weren't born on certain dates. So I think that Frost likes to play around with ideas and concepts and changes things around a lot. Because he says sometimes that some characters are born on this year and when they were born on another year, and
I mean, I think it can be the same thing. It's like it doesn't really change anything if they were different things. Except doppelgangers, I always interpret it as more of like a holistic thing, and tulpas I always interpret it as like, a ritualistic like creation.
You don't create a doppelganger. You don't pull out a thing of hair and then create your negative self.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
The tulpa is supposed to have zero, like almost zero personality. It's supposed to be what you make of it, what you feed into it. It's an empty vessel that you go, okay, I need it to be like this, I don't think that Diane as a tulpa, that's her doppelganger. That is just that she's like a confused shell of her, of her human self. She doesn't even know where she is half the time.
Yep.
All she knows to do is cuss and smoke.
After we see Diane basically emerge from Nido, she doesn't curse at all, does she? She doesn't say anything. She doesn't she barely talks, I guess.
It's true. It's true.
Interesting.
Let's see. Daduda says, "Do the doppelgangers only have white eyes when they're in the lodge?" Well, I if you go by the show, I suppose so. Because when Mr. C comes back into the lodge, he's got the white eyes, and when he's buried in the chair.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jamie says Maddie died through violence. Maybe dying that way by a lodge entity can put you in the lodge. I think what it is also, if you go by what Fire Walk With Me shows, Leland probably went to the Black Lodge and spilled Maddie's blood into the lodge. Like how Bob grabs Leland's blood and pours it on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
If you go by that concept, then Maddie's blood is in the lodge. Thereby, a version of Maddie is stuck in the lodge.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen Maddie in season 3. Imagine if Ray Wise had been sitting there in the chair with Cheryl Lee as Madeline Ferguson in another chair, and then he says, "Find Laura," and Cooper's looking at Madeline, knowing that's not Laura, but it is Laura, but it's not. That would have been cool. Wilton says the doppelganger wasn't manufactured. The tulpa seems to go through a different process. When Mr. C dies, Gerard doesn't give him the manufactured speech. Jacob says, Lynch went out of his way to show the empty guy's house, and Andy deciding to go back to the station after waiting, so he clearly wanted us to take note of it. No, he clearly wanted to just throw open every door in season 3 and make every single thing a question and a mystery. That's all that shot of the house was. It's not like something we are supposed to deeply, deeply ponder about. It's just kind of things are a little squirrely right now. Things are just, people aren't showing up. There's little kids throwing up in cars. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was more, it was like a mood setter. It's like, what is actually going on here?
Right. Dadito says, I assumed it was Richard who killed or threatened the guy, not Red. Who knows? It was somebody. Dadito says, open question. Whose doppelganger do you think it would be fun to see that doesn't appear in the show? I think Hawk and the Log Ladies would be interesting to see. Well, we kind of saw the Log Ladies doppelganger when Emerald dressed up as her.
I think the most intense would be Hawk, since he has the most knowledge about that kind of stuff.
Who would I like to see?
Shelley.
Little Nicky.
Or a Leo. Like, imagine what Leo's doppelganger would be like.
He would have
It'd
been
be
a
the polar
sweetheart.
opposite.
He would have been a sweetheart. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. That would have been great. If the show had ended with Cooper pulling out the good version of Leo, and Leo came home and was like all happy with Shelley and stuff, like, I love your cooking. You can smoke any kind of cigarette in here. So Wilton says, how many doppelgangers can one have? Probably one. It's like probably the opposite of whatever that person is.
Yeah, it seems like it's just, yeah.
Wilton's getting kinky here. Says triple gangers. That's too many people.
Wow. It's your most middle self.
What about Major Briggs' doppelganger? That would have been a formidable foe.
Questionable. I don't know what that would look like.
He probably confronted his doppelganger since he was in the Black Lodge for like 20-something years.
That's true. They probably were friends because Major Briggs is like very much like he's already a combination of all those things. Like he's a sweetheart, but he's also military and like you don't know what else he's been up to.
Right.
So it might have been an even thing.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, we still haven't put in a single dollar into this campaign. We need to at least get it to 1,300. Just $1. Help us get there, folks. Help us get there. Landora says, interesting, we never see a woodsman in the lodge. Well, we do see a woodsman in the convenience store meeting in Firewalk with Me. I guess that's about as close as we get. Jacob says, Audrey's doppelganger would be cool. I would say Sarah, but Judy Sarah was more than enough. I don't really care about Sarah's doppelganger.
I mean, it's curious just to think about what these doppelgangers would look like. Sarah's kind of also like a mixed bag. I don't know what you would get from her.
I'd like to see Toad's doppelganger. You know, he's probably never hungry for pie.
Or the German lady that works at the double R, her
Heidi. Yeah. Wilton says, since the Major is at what we assume is the White Lodge, he must have confronted his own doppel at some point, taking what Hawk said in season 2. I love that they build that entire set for him on the throne with the wall of plants and stuff like that for one scene. They never show it again.
Lynch just wanted that image. He just wanted that shot.
But that's not even his episode. He didn't direct that episode. I don't think he was even on set at that time.
Wow.
So
somebody else wanted that.
Yeah, exactly. Duda says, you kind of addressed this already, but if a person is already evil, is their doppelganger good? I would assume so. We've never seen that. I'm just going by your doppelganger is the opposite of you.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be a great concept, though. Just to kind of do the flip opposite.
Unless any of the doppelgangers in the Black Lodge are negative, are like the evil. I mean, you could be a bad person, but I'm sure it could get worse.
Michael says, where did the woodsmen come from? They came out of that rift in the space-time continuum when Judy came through. That's where they came from. They weren't hatched out of the eggs. They were already walking around like Night of the Living Dead or something.
Yep.
So, I mean, the whole thing in episode 8, right, where they get in the radio station and they put everyone in the trance and everything like that, like, that was just to put the whole town under so that they could get the frog moth into at least somebody? Or do you think there were multiple frog moths going into multiple people? You think they impregnated the whole town with that stuff?
I almost don't think the frog moth has anything to do with the woodsman. I think they were going out on their own accord. I think everybody had their own plan.
Oh, okay.
The frog moth might have just been, I mean, they're all sort of servants of Judy, I guess, but I think the frog moth was like deliberate, maybe from Judy.
They definitely had to put people under, sedate them, so that, I mean, no one's willingly going to let them have a frog moth climb in their mouth, right? So unless you're super kinky, but that's that's probably not happening. Let's see. We got a bunch of people's questions here. Dom says, I'm confused. Can both the character and the doppelganger be out in the world at the same time? That only one could at a time be switched thing from the lodge. Well, they seem to implicate that, but then Cooper's out there as Dougie, taking the Dougie form, and then Mr. C's out there. So they're both out there. But the world, it's not that Cooper comes out as Dougie and the world goes to crap. The world's already crap anyway before Cooper even gets out there. So I don't really know like how much of a difference it really it makes whether he's out there or not,
I mean, Cooper got out through a back door with the non-existent thing, so he wasn't. I don't think he was supposed to go out that way, which is what caused a lot of the mess.
But I think the world was already messy to begin with. I mean, if they wanted to do that, Joey, they would have like a perfect, like a pretty decent world, and then Cooper comes out and everything goes to crap. But it's like it already was chaotic and weird out there.
Yeah, that's what's interesting because Mike makes it seem like the lodge is like dying a little bit, and that you'd think there would be so much Garmin Bosia because of all the stuff going on, but he's like, no, we're kind of we're in trouble here. We're all having a hard time in the lodge here. We need some help.
Yeah, there should have been a moment like The Shining where Cooper just unleashes an entire elevator full of cream corn that just flies through the Black Lodge, and they all start like surfing like Kurt Russell in Escape from LA or something. On the Twin Peaks Coffee Time says, for me, I think a tulpa is created when someone is trapped by their doppelganger, potentially. Well, you do have a good point because Cooper and Diane both have the tulpas created after they're both trapped by the lodge. So that is a possibility. I don't, but I do think that I do think there's enough wiggle room in there where that you could do some other hocus pocus kind of stuff. But yeah, sure. It is a valid theory though. Take the Ring is here. Hello. Says secret history hints that woodsmen are spirits of the loggers lost in the Old Town fire. Mm-hmm. However, that scene with Sarah Palmer and the radio station is New Mexico, not Twin Peaks. So, not quite sure the spirits of the loggers would be wandering New Mexico in a desert. Not too many trees out there in the desert.
Yeah, that was interesting. He chose to put a bunch of woodsmen in a desert. Well, what's that about?
I don't know. I think.
You also have the firemen, and you have all these sooted woodsmen. There's a lot of just like people burnt up and things burning, and I guess wood burning is like the old way for electricity and fire and heat and energy, all that stuff.
Yeah,
it's just symbolic.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Well, we did have a contribution by Mr. Aaron Cohen, but he is not. I know that he's not watching this video.
Okay.
But we are.
I'm trying. It's not taking my contribution for some reason. It's like just frozen.
So we are at 1349, and hopefully we can at least continue to bring awareness to it. Let's see. Twin Peaks Coffee Time says the return is about Cooper trying to escape his doppelganger. I don't know about that. He's not ever. The only time he's trying to escape his doppelganger is in the last moments of season 2. Season 3 is about they're just completely on the wrong side of the world like the entire time from each other. He's not trying to escape him. He doesn't even know where he is half the time. He's too busy eating his dinner like at the speed of a snail, watching Sunset Boulevard and drawing ladders. Let's see. Twin Peaks Coffee Time says the woodsmen were burned alive, hence the pain they have and make other people feel. Right, but it still doesn't explain the fact why they're wandering the desert. Like, I get it. Like, if they're coming out of the woods to like help Mr. C and all that after Ray shoots them, like that makes sense. They're coming out of the woods, right? But just wandering the desert, it seems like it wasn't like really a fire. It was more of they came with the whole rift that happened. Michael Yaninski says the secret history of Twin Peaks says about a big fire at the Packer sawmill and 8 woodsmen died in the fire. Is there any connection with woodsmen helping Bad Cooper? I think that that definitely helps. I mean, I think that when they get to Twin Peaks, the woodsmen kind of, once the lodge sets itself up in the Twin Peaks proper area, then I think, yes, then anything like that kind of got drawn in. But I don't know if the initial woodsmen we see running around New Mexico are that,
Yeah, I'm not sure. And also they're born from a convenience store. It's, I mean, it's, woodsmen are born, from a convenience store, at least hatched from a convenience store, whatever way you want to see it.
Yeah. Twin Peaks Coffee Time says the tulpa is created out of necessity. It is not the real Cooper. That's true. It is not the real Cooper at all. It is literally a manufactured thing. But your doppelganger isn't a manufactured thing. That's like you looking in the mirror. Your mirror image is not a manufactured thing. That is a direct reflection of you.
Mm-hmm.
But from the opposite point of view. When you hold up your right hand, you're left-handed in the mirror. It's the Daddy says there's wordplay involved with the woodsman sawing logs as the metaphor for sleeping, hence dreaming. The woodsman also put the girl to sleep so the frog moth can enter her. Twin Peaks Coffee Time says there is no Rancho Rosa. It is all a tulpa reality. I'm not quite I know that's your theory. I'm not quite sure like what your basis is, except for the fact about the King Arthur streets and the Sycamore Grove and all that. Because that definitely lends itself to the whole King Arthur mystique that's brought up in season 2. But other than that, everything about Rancho Rosa is about as real as you can get in Twin Peaks. Like, because the Las Vegas area is filled with con men and hitmen and people not paying their debts and abandoned neighborhoods and things like that. That is not a dream reality. That is a real reality of Las Vegas today. Still.
I mean, yeah, I like what they did with that because it's very much like there's these cookie cutter houses and these cookie cutter people kind of thing. It reminds me of like the Weeds intro. But then you have like a scene like with Hutch and Chantel and the accountant or the insurance guy, whatever he was, come in and shoot each other up in the middle of the neighborhood.
Now, if your concept is that none of season 3 is real and the whole thing is a dream of Cooper in the Red Room and that he doesn't actually get out of the Red Room till the end or the beginning of episode 18, then yes, absolutely. But you can't say Rancho Rosa is a dream reality and everything else is real, because I don't think there's no I don't know if you can make that case. Now, if you can make the case that the whole thing is fake, everything we see is a dream reality, then sure. But the way it's presented, Rancho Rosa is presented very matter of fact. Because there isn't anything really dreamy about it.
Yeah, no.
That's the thing. It's just presented very matter of fact. Jacob says, thank you for reminding me that Snake Plissken surfs in Escape from LA. I really appreciate that. Really nice of you. Well, just imagine if Leland Palmer.
Rewatch that.
Imagine if Leland Palmer was on a surfboard surfing the Garmin Bosia in the Black Lodge. That would have been amazing. And if him and Cooper gave each other like a high five and they parted ways and they were just surfing the Garmin Bosia. That would have been.
I'm pretty sure I've seen Ray Wise like fake surf in a different show. Can't remember what it is though.
Twin Peaks Coffee Time says the tulpa designation is a quote from Mark Frost. The tulpa designation made it a bit more exotic and mystical. We did use the word doppelganger at times, but they're close to interchangeable concepts. Okay, but they're not exactly interchangeable. They're close. I can understand because it is a separate version of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's the closeness, but they are different things. He doesn't say they're the same. They're close to interchangeable concepts, but they're not interchangeable concepts.
I mean, yeah, because identically they look the same. They could be doppelgangers, but the idea of the doppelganger that they established in season 2 was the shadow self. So I get it could be a doppelganger if you just want to use the the regular doppelganger term. It looks like him, sounds like him, whatever. But the way they established the doppelganger as shadow self in season 2, kind of thing, I guess.
Well, it's just like because the shadow self, the doppelganger, is supposed to be your opposite self that you confront. The tulpa is what I'm trying to think of that line. I'm trying to think of oh God, I can't remember the movie, but the idea is that it is an empty vessel and you get to fill it with whatever you want it to be. You create the tulpa. You feed it the memories you want it to have. You give it the personality you want it to have. You actually control the tulpa in a certain way because you're building that person.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it says the Dugpas would have been these magicians who would carry the lodge spirits within them. See, Hal had a great idea all through season 3 that, of course, blew up on our faces. And that is that Nido really should have been the magician that longs to see. That it's right there in front of you, right? I mean, come on. That to me would have been the perfect explanation for that character.
The Nido thing still doesn't. I did not like what happened with that.
I don't even think that was properly thought through.
That's probably my biggest like thing with season 3. The Nido thing just was silly.
I mean, yes, in the motel room scene between Cooper and Diane or Richard and Linda or whatever, she does kind of cover his mouth, just like Nido kind of covers his mouth in episode 3. But apart from that, there's no indication whatsoever that Diane would become Nido. You know what I mean? Like in this alternate
besides like flipping that name around.
Yeah, Diane. You know. You wouldn't change the race of the character.
That's the part that I'm like, I don't know why they did that. It's a little weird, but
I mean personally, I think they wrote themselves into a hole and they needed to get Diane in there and they just said, we'll just have her be at a certain point. I mean, yes, the name switch lends itself, but I think that there does seem to be a big gap in the connecting of those two characters. Like they ran out of time to do this, or they forgot to do this or something. And we know that whole scene with Freddy was completely rewritten on the fly. It was not in the script that way. Because if you watch the behind the scenes, Lynch is still kind of not knowing what he's going to do 2 days before they filmed that scene. So I
was really curious about Nido, and it just did not work out in a way that I thought.
Right. So when you go back and you watch the show, it's like I don't really put any thought into it because it's like so much about that character doesn't make any sense. Even when she gets like supposedly electrocuted and flies off the bell, it's like a joke. It's like laughable. It's like, what is this? Like, woo! We're gonna just do the triple Lindy right off the bell tower. I don't know. It just there's so much right with the character, and then there's so much that's just like, huh?
Yeah, and not even in a good way. It's just like
there's no consistency.
What was that?
Yeah, maybe someone will.
Because I really like Nido. I wanted to see what would happen. Like I was very invested in the Nido thing, and then it was like, oh, that was Diane. What?
Yeah.
Sure. All right, I guess.
Dad Dude says, I just read that Jack Nance was originally supposed to wear the green glove. Do you think that's true? Is that something? That's not true at all.
Yeah,
Jack
I was going to
Nance
say
died.
that's...
Jack Nance died right after Lost Highway was made in 1996, I believe. I mean, they weren't even thinking about green gloves in 1996.
I mean, they might have, but I don't. I doubt it.
I doubt it. Jacob says the woodsmen need a damn light. Do they have one or not? Let's see. Let's see. That dude says the only part of the Twin Peaks show that feels realistic is the FBI scenes in season 3. Oh, I don't know about that. When they're running around that abandoned house area and Matthew Lillard's head explodes, it's the least realistic situation.
I love that. He's dead.
You like that, or do you like Lynch like this? Shaking.
I mean, the "he's dead" line killed me. I almost fell out of my seat when he delivered that. It was so funny. Yep, he's dead.
Yeah.
So funny.
Let's see here.
And then Tammy rolls her eyes.
Hey, Christian in our chat threw in $10. Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Nice.
Christian. I appreciate that. And all right. Let's see. Michael says, what kind of entity possessed Sarah Palmer? Why Sarah Palmer had Laura's smile when she took the face off? Was it Judy or Laura's doppelganger? It was Judy. I mean, look, I say this matter of factly. You can have your own interpretation. So, but I think that the evidence presented to us suggests that it is Judy from all the way through. It's one of the few consistent things. Nettie Force says alternate realities. I don't believe so. We thought it was going to be alternate realities, but the moment Jade mailed the key back to the Great Northern and actually reached Ben Horn in the same timeline, we're like, okay, so it's not alternate realities. Because we thought Rancho Rosa was like 8 years or something like before everything was happening, and we thought it was going to, there was like, we didn't think that, we thought that when Cooper was in the box and it was like, that he was like, not going back to the same time as everybody else, like he had gone there a little earlier. Willen says, I don't know what's on Reddit. I never go there. What it seems to me, the woodsman says some form of enchantment on the microphone and everyone's put to sleep in the frog. Well, that's what we see. I mean,
I'll be right back.
Okay. We have been abandoned. Let's see. Twin Peaks Coffee Time says, why is there a big dog's face on the screen? Well, thank you for asking. This is a crowdfunding that somebody in the Twin Peaks community, Maya, Twin Peaks blog on Twitter, is doing. Her dog is not doing well and needs an MRI. And so we are bringing attention to her crowdfunding campaign. The link to it is obviously right there in the black at the bottom of the screen. And that will take you to her crowdfunding link to help her get a dog looked at. Let's see. Ominous Whoosh is here. It says since the experiment vomited so many eggs, I think of there being many frog moth parasites all over Earth manifested by all the evil acts by humans since 1956. Probably, and the desert probably covered up a lot of them. Let's see. Nettie Force 1 says, why was Sarah worse than her husband? Not quite sure what you mean by that. Ominous Wish says, great insight, Cameron and Joey, on doppelgangers and tulpas. Well, thank you. It's very confusing to be talking about all that, but thank you. Twin Peaks Coffee Time says the trouble with Naito was the character was sidelined overall because the show had too many characters. Well, I think that I think they had a concept for Diane. I think they had a concept for Naito, but for whatever reason, it just didn't fit together as nicely as it could have. Dad Duda says, when the fireman says it's in our house now, I assume it refers to Judy. What do you think Judy did in the fireman's house? I don't know. I mean, Judy was, I know, banging on the, I know Judy was banging on the door. She's apparently mother, right? She wasn't Mike Pence's wife. It was mother in the show. So banging on the door while Phoebe Augustine, a.k.a. Ronette Pulaski, a.k.a. American Girl, is panicking at the fireplace. Adamo says, great conversation happening here, guys, just like the old days. Just like the old days, Joey. 3 years ago.
It seems like a lifetime at this point.
It does. I'm losing my space. Sorry, guys. Let me see where we are here. I can't believe we have a lot of people watching, and Joey, it's amazing.
It's awesome.
People seem to really care about Twin Peaks. Because sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I do these videos and I
think we got on a good time.
Yeah. Let's see here. All right, we're gonna try and get through as many of these as we can, guys. I can't be on here all day. I have my own Twin Peaks story that I gotta continue editing.
That's right.
Let's see. Morton says, any theory about the drooling prisoner? We talked about this the last time, and I think we concluded by the evidence presented to us in the show that person is not really there. And I think that holds up on rewatches, because the first time I watched it, I thought it was just an annoying person in a cell. You know what I mean? And there's lots of things like that in the show, like Zombie Girl and things like that. But nobody ever acknowledges that person except Naito going off the sound.
Mm-hmm.
Like James and Freddie never look at that person. So
I have to rewatch it now.
So unless there's a moment where they actually look at the person, I know they never say anything to that person. So I'm thinking that is a lot like the woodsman in the jail in episode 1, is it right? When Matthew Lillard's or episode 2, whatever it was. When Matthew Lillard's in the jail, which is one. I hate that. I like him in the jail. I like the woodsman in the jail, and I love him disappearing. I do not like his face. Just
it's like, whoop.
I would love it. Just let him disappear. That would be creepy. But the fact that they left the face to go up, I was like, oh no, what is happening? What is happening? Ominous Whoosh says, laugh out loud, Naito doing the triple Indy. Absolutely. That was triple Indy, for all you who don't know. It's a Rodney Dangerfield back to school reference.
Love that movie.
November 17th says, so what's the consensus on the clock skipping at the sheriff's office and Cooper superimposed face? Well, if you go by what you see on Twitter right now, it's a Vertigo reference. So I think it's just to give us the feeling that nothing is quite what it seems, and also Cooper, if he's able to do this and get the curtains going, all that he can manipulate time, or time can manipulate him. I don't know.
I think it was like him being able to kind of see through the veil a little bit. He's like,
yeah,
we live inside a dream. Like he knows what's going on. He has like the bigger, he's up here. Everybody's kind of down here. He could see the kind of more of the picture than everybody else.
I know Cooper obviously thinks he's better than all of us.
Yep.
And he needs to get off his high horse and just let Freddie continue to fight his own battles. Tattooda says, supposedly the Jack Nance glove thing is mentioned in Room to Dream and would have been used in season 2 or in a hypothetical season 3 if it had been renewed.
I didn't finish Room to Dream yet.
So that's an interesting idea. I do not think that if it had been applied in a season 3 in 1991, it would have been applied the same way as Freddie Sykes. I think that maybe Pete wears something, you know what I mean? But he would have done it clever. He would have been like,
fishing glove.
"Oh, Josie, I'm just, taking care of some fish here, and I had to get my new gloves," that type of thing. Kurt says, I was hoping Naito was going to be revealed as Josie. I would have been more happy if the noise in Ben Horn's office was Josie. I think that would have been just a great nod to Josie Packard, that she's still there, tormenting his hotel.
They were hearing the portal to the other realm.
Right. That Cooper's room key opens in the basement. It's like, what? It's like so funny. Michael says, what would happen if somebody gave the woodsman a light? I don't know. Robert says, what was with Cooper talking like a slowed down 45 in the interrogation room? Okay, there's no official reason. I have my own idea, which is his voice has to go from one room to another through the speaker, and the speaker would, that is some sort of electricity, and because he's part of the lodge, it screws it up.
Yeah, there's some kind of modulation.
Yeah. But it was a perfect look. You have to say that Mr. C's voice in those prison interrogation scenes was perfect.
I'm very glad to see you, Gordon.
Exactly. I've watched those scenes so many times because I think they're perfectly written, acted, but that voice is just,
it's haunting. Yeah.
it's so great. It's so great. When he goes, by our colleague, Philip Jeffries. Let's see.
Strawberry.
Let's see. Jacob says the funniest line in season 3 for me it is, listen, people are under a lot of stress these days.
That's a good one too.
After the Russian accountant killed me. That entire sequence, we talked about this on the last episode. That entire sequence is straight out of Tarantino, straight out of Coen Brothers, but executed. It was perfect. Like when people always talk about like season 3 has a lot of like left turns and right turns just to kind of throw us off our game and keep us on edge. That is one of the sequences where it was done perfectly, because not only does it literally come out of nowhere, this Polish accountant thing, but it comes out of nowhere, it's presented, but then it's dealt with effectively. It's not just brought in and been like, oh, well, that's it. It's like there are actual consequences for this moment. So it's like it kind of plays as an isolated, like perfect set piece unto itself. It's like a perfect short film unto itself of like how your day could go completely wrong.
It's and the comeuppance of Butch and Chantel.
Right.
They wanted to be jerks. They were jerks to the wrong guy this time, and they got it.
Exactly. But it does feel like a scene that you would see in Fargo.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, absolutely. Fargo, North Dakota?
Right. Dadudo says, do you think that Billy could be the drunk or the trucker who was supposed to meet Andy, or neither? Well, that was the idea at the time, right? That it was that it was Billy.
Billy, yeah.
But we had the actor on this show, Jay Ossing. And I don't believe he was told that he was Billy. He was just told to just go in there and I believe he said just repeat everything that they said and just be annoying with it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Michael says, who was Philip Jeffries' imposter? I'm not quite sure what that's the reference to. Is that towards the Mr. C who he communicates with in the hotel room? I think someone said last time that they still think it's Judy, saying because he says I missed you in New York, but who knows? Twin Peaks coffee time. Ooh, I like this. The mother bangs on the door, match up with the shots fired with Becky at Gerson Hayward's door. Well, I'm not sure what the connection would be, but it makes sense because season 3 is filled with things like that, where
Bangs at the door, yeah,
things match like where they shouldn't match, but it's like, well, that's really bizarre, but they match,
I love those. There's a lot of really cool details in the return.
Absolutely,
that I can really appreciate.
Scott says Deputy Chad acknowledges drooling dude in the jail. But Deputy
Chad, because he makes a noise, right? He like tells him to shut up, or he like makes fun of him.
Right, but nobody else. It almost seems like Deputy Chad is on his way to the Black Lodge. Because, all the gifted and the damned are who sees these things. Let's see. Ominous wishes James and Freddie do react to the drunk's presence in jail. Well, I could make the argument then Freddie, because Freddie's ties with the lodge, that he'd be able to see him. But is he really there? Is the question.
I really have to go back and rewatch that scene.
I mean, honestly, I don't really care if he's there or if he's not there. I just know that he's not, for being that annoying, nobody really deals with him or says too much to him. They just let him be. And he does come across like a zombie. I mean, there's so many like zombie imagery in this season too. The idea that all these drugs are like overtaking the town and turning people into, but then again, that was happening, that happened in Florida, right? With the bath salts, people were becoming literal zombies and like eating people on the street. So, that's a true story, by the way.
Yep.
402 says maybe the buzzing noise was Josie. We might never know for sure. It wasn't, because that noise also shows up in the hospital room with Cooper before he wakes up. So unless Josie is zooming over to a hospital room, I'm going to assume that's not her ultimately.
Well, it comes from the boiler room where the door is, right?
Right.
Which is interesting that Ben can hear it.
94 once again asks, why was Sarah worse than Leland? I'm not quite sure what that question's asking. Why was Sarah worse than Leland?
Maybe responding to somebody else.
Daduda says, I assume the one-armed man was the Jeffries imposter, but it could be Judy for all we know. I kind of thought it was the one-armed man too, but the one-armed man never really makes himself a part of Mr. C's world like the rest of the entire season, if that's true.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Robert says Mr. C's voice really disturbed me. It was incredible. Yeah, I agree. 94 says season 4 happening. Is season 4 happening, Joe? You better tell me the truth right now. I know you got ties with the Showtime CBS Corporation. Is season 4 happening? Reveal it now.
They call me every morning and let me know what's up. I get the full rundown every morning. And it's above my pay grade.
I told them to flat out cancel it. I said, listen, whatever your plans are, we don't care. And no one wants to see it. So just sell your merch and be done with it.
I said, just kick the property over to CW. Just, let it go. This is a dead ship. Nobody cares.
CW.
Let the Riverdale people deal with it. And, that's it.
I told them to go to Quibbly.
Oh, you mean Quibi?
Quibbly. Who cares? No one watches that anymore.
So tomato.
Yeah. Twin Peaks Coffee Time says all those sounds are distorted, which the return is also in its absolute form. Everything is wrong. The idea says it's interesting that American Girl Ronette refers to Judy as her mother. Maybe she's like the one-armed man, a dark spirit who repented of its finer actions. I don't think that's really Ronette Pulaski we see. I think it's just like something else. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's Ronette.
See, my theory, of course it's wrong, so don't go by this theory, but my original theory was that if Laura never died and she went missing, then Ronette had to have been the girl that was killed. And if Leland had killed Ronette, mad that he never got to Laura, then Ronette could have been like a Mary Kelly thing, who Mary Kelly, of course, was played by Heather Graham in From Hell, and could be completely annihilated where they couldn't identify her. Therefore, she would be a Jane Doe or American Girl. But that was proved wrong. The fact that Ronette Pulaski didn't die either. 402 says, when will someone put all the scenes in a more logical order just to see if season 3 makes more sense? Could be an interesting project. Well, I guess you'd have to decide what is the order. I mean, because like when the car blows up in Rancho Rosa, I think it's like 3 or 4 episodes later, the police are there like looking at the carnage that happened. That doesn't match up with what we've been watching, because you know what I mean? It's like that would have been like right after, not 4 episodes later.
I think what you'd have to do is take each section or each plot, put those together, and then maybe reassemble it from that. So scattered.
Sure. Okay. Let's see. Twin Peaks Comic Time says, I think more Twin Peaks will happen, and Lynch is preparing something for announcement now. See, here's the good news about Twin Peaks happening is he's made it so big now, the world, that he literally could take whatever movie he wants to do. Like, let's say he wants to do something like Lost Highway or something like that, whatever. Well, he can just call it Twin Peaks and stick that story in Twin Peaks. He doesn't, you know what I mean? So he can use Twin Peaks as the umbrella to make whatever he wants to make.
Well, I was saying yesterday, when I did a video yesterday, and I was saying that I think the end was the end of Twin Peaks, and now it's going to be a different show, but it's going to be a lot of the same characters.
Gotcha.
That's my theory.
All right, everybody, for the last few minutes while we're wrapping everything up, I just want to say one more time, please check out this crowdfunding. Teddy needs an MRI. Here's the link. Show Maya and Teddy some love and throw in $1 if you can. And all right, so now I'm going to remove that. And here's Joey's stuff. All right, let's continue on. Let's see. Dudas says, why does the doppelganger ask who is Judy, being that Cooper knows who Judy Jaude is? Doesn't the doppelganger know everything Cooper knew at the time of his entering the lodge? Well, that is revisionist history at its finest, because if you go by season 3's idea, or what Gordon says, Cooper knew about Judy prior to going to the lodge in season 2.
They all have a big hash out with Gordon and Briggs and all that stuff.
The only thing I can think of is Mr. C got high on his own supply a bit too many times and can't remember.
Possible. Too much Coke.
Too much. Let's see. Ominous Whoosh says Mr. C's voice being slowed down in the prison because he vomited in the accident, and while in prison he wasn't fed cream corn, so he had to speak slowly. Yes, but he's not fed cream corn at all in the jail, and he ends up talking fine like after he gets out of that.
On the phone.
And on the interrogation stuff. I just rewatched that scene too, where he's in the jail and he looks in the mirror and says, "Are you still with me?" That's effective. That's very effective how they did that effect. It's very subtle. Let's see here. 402 says maybe you think Sarah is worse than Leland because Sarah knew about the abuse. I mean, let's just be honest here. If Leland is supposedly the evil that men do, then Sarah's to represent the people who may know that evil is there but turns a blind eye. So that's what Judy would theoretically represent by that. But I really think there is a connection between Sarah Palmer and Marietta Fortune and Wild at Heart. I think there's a real big connection between those two, because the way Lynch describes Marietta Fortune is dying inside. You can see that not necessarily in season 1 and 2, because I don't think Sarah Palmer is Judy in season 1 and 2. I think that she becomes Judy as season 3 develops.
Yep.
After 25 years of guilt and all that, and then Judy explodes out of the glass. The frog moth inside Sarah is the beacon. Judy instantaneously, just boom, finds her. But when you see Sarah Palmer moaning like a dying animal in 17 after Cooper gets Laura, and not just the slashing, but just the before it comes out, and that's like really terrifying. Like, I don't see anything, but just the idea of like somebody like dying in this room and then exploding in anger and rage. It's very Wicked Queen. It's very,
Oh yeah.
She's getting desperate. She's getting mean. She's getting vengeful, and she just rips Laura Palmer away from Cooper, throws her in Odessa, Texas. But because there's no real time and space in this moment, when Cooper's in the Black Lodge and Laura goes and flies through the air, that's her getting ripped to Odessa, Texas. But it's happening at a different time, because it's like the there is no now. It's all happening now.
Do you think Judy is the one that rips her out, or do you think it's the fireman like replacing her because Judy's getting too close?
It seems like a trick, because the diner she's working in is Judy's.
Yeah. It
seems like a trick. And if it was a fireman's thing, Cooper wouldn't be acting so paranoid the whole trip.
This is true.
He would be like, okay, she's safe. He probably would leave her there if he thought it was a fireman's thing, because she's being protected. But I think Cooper's like, we got to get her out of this.
I guess that's why she would also scream when she's being pulled out, because it's, this terrible monster ripping you out of space.
Yeah, I think if it was the fireman, she'd be like, oh, what's that music?
Yeah, but she was literally ripped out screaming.
Right. That really, really surprised me when I first saw the first 2-hour episode, because I was like, I did not see that happening.
No, I remember I had to do one of those where you grab the remote real quick to lower it, because I had the volume up because most of the show's pretty tame and quiet.
Right.
And she started screaming, blood-curdling scream.
Oh my. Yeah, that was wild. None of the above says, would have loved to see Hawk make it to the lodge in season 3. It seemed it was heading that way, then nothing. I agree. I think that huge missed opportunity. Hawk's character, season 3. It's those first like 2 hours, 4 hours. He's building. He's getting he's figuring this out. Cooper's in the lodge. I'm going to be the one that goes in there and gets him. No, I'm just going to do really nothing for the rest of the season.
Yeah, he was really, it felt like he was kind of the lead a little bit there for a second, and then nothing.
Then he's talking about bunnies, searching bathroom stalls for nickels, and then finally just as in the bathroom for the entire climatic ending of episode 17.
I mean, he was our line to the log lady, and we got all those great log lady scenes through him. And
it's funny though, because remember on Twitter, it was like, oh my God, it was so sad seeing the log lady for the final time. I can't handle it. And then next week she'd be back on again. And then I was like, I can't handle it. There's too many this log lady seems to make me cry. Oh, it's so sad saying goodbye to her. Then she's on the next week. It was like,
until she actually said goodbye.
Yeah.
He'd just be like, okay, Margaret. And then he'd like hang up.
Take the Ring says, Woodsman in the desert, Woodsman in Buckhorn, Woodsman with Ray and Mr. C. Doesn't matter, really. Okay, Jacob. I'm sorry.
It doesn't.
Yeah. No, but Jeremiah, just because you look like a woodsman and you're in Indiana, I know you're trying to say that there are woodsmen all over the globe. I know you want to be a woodsman. You should definitely do it for Halloween this year. Just roam your neighborhood and start knocking on people's doors asking for lights. Film it all, put it on your YouTube channel. That'd be amazing. I just don't want woodsmen all over the globe. But I get it.
Well, yeah.
I tease. Let's see. Wilton says, if Laura never died and went missing, Twin Peaks is ready for a reboot. Just saying. Well, that's what we talked about. Let's have the new season literally start with the pilot, but Laura's missing, not dead.
Well, I think you do a recut of Fire Walk with Me with, you redo that ending and then you go into a new season. That's what I want.
Yes.
Fire Walk with Me 2 prequel sequel. Just like Fire Walk with Me 1, the original was a prequel and a sequel.
Yeah. Let's see. Michael says, who are Mr. Strawberry and Joe McCluskey? Isn't Mr. Strawberry a dog?
I think so. I don't totally remember what my theories were there.
That dude says McCluskey is the name of a corrupt cop from The Godfather, so it's probably meant to indicate he's a corrupt cop. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Scott Chrissy says, I always thought the woodsmen as spirits who could appear anywhere. See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I assumed, that they were that. I didn't think that they were specifically woods. We're getting into all the specifics. Woodsmen and doppelgangers and tulpas and all that stuff. Just, it's all one world, ladies and gentlemen. It's all one world. Like Landora says, it's a continuing story.
Yep.
Let's see. Oh my God, I've got so many comments, which is a good thing. I'm not complaining. Just saying. Just saying. That's Take the Ring says the answer is Sarah Palmer. Mr. C knows what Judy is. He's literally asking, who is Judy? That.
All right. Yeah.
That makes sense. Thank you, Take the Ring. Thank you, Jeremiah. I appreciate that.
For sure.
Twin Peaks Coffee Time says Lynch said on this video the other day he was thinking about trees again, electricity a few days back. Nobody associates these things with Mulholland Drive, really. Well, I guess we will see. I mean, I just hope the new Twin Peaks season isn't a Josh Gad Skype call with the cast. While going through, real quick, I just want to ask, what did you think of you not getting free spaghetti anymore because of Graceland?
I mean, I was never going to get free spaghetti because that was some real pricey spaghetti, if you ask me. But I'm excited to see what they do now with whatever they were, if they're going to do anything at all.
Well, James from Twin Peaks Coffee Time reminded me the other day that Mr. C's one of his co-conspirators in the first 2 episodes, the mechanic guy that he kills, in the diner, he's wolfing down 3 plates of spaghetti. So is that where the spaghetti comes from for Graceland's event?
What was that character's name? I don't remember. Oh, well. I guess.
That's a random reference, if anything, right? Let's see. Strange Disturbances here. Hello. Let's see. Dad Duda says Hawk should have been the sheriff, frankly.
Agree with that.
No complaints here. I mean, of course I like Robert Forster, but
yeah,
I think Robert Forster, he could have been like an older deputy and have Hawk be the sheriff.
I feel like Harry would have definitely made Hawk the interim sheriff.
I think Lynch and Frost, they had it in their minds. They really wanted a true man. They wanted a Truman heading the ship. I think that's just what it was. Landora says it's kind of strange, Judy, watching a boxing match. It's not like anyone dies. No, but a lot of us thought the boxing match was Bud, right? From
Hartnell, yeah.
From Dougie's job, right?
Yep.
What was his name?
Because we saw that poster.
Yeah, that's what I mean. What was his name? Ramblin' Bud or something like that? Boxing Bud or whatever his name is. I can't remember.
I think it was Bud Hart. No, I might be wrong.
No, Bushnell Mullins.
Bushnell Mullins. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why am I thinking Bud? I don't
know. Then you got me thinking, yeah, Bushnell Mullins. Wow. Time for a rewatch.
Twin Peaks Coffee Time says, when will we get another tweet from Sherilyn Fenn expressing her anger at Lynch and Frost? I don't know. That was so 2016, James. So 2016.
And 2017. 2018.
Wilton says, well, Mr. Strawberry could have been a dog, but why would Mr. C mention a phone call to a dog? Listen, they talk to trees in this show. Okay? They can talk to a dog as well.
Why would Mr. C? That's hysterical.
MB's Coffee Time says the boxing match is definitely from the 1950s. Oh, absolutely. But I think what other people have caught, which I didn't catch, but other people say but it's on repeat. Like, why on earth would it be repeat?
Oh yeah, she's watching like the same few seconds over and over.
Right. They're getting arguments in the chat. James is in there screaming and saying, it's not a call to a dog. How old are you?
This dog bit is pretty funny.
Strange Disturbance says free spaghetti sounded questionable. For $1,200 a ticket?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Spaghetti's extremely cheap.
Dad Duda says it was disappointing that Dougie's boss never punched anyone. I agree. Didn't you want to see Bushnell Mullins and Freddie Sykes just come together like the Budweiser commercials back in the day?
Yeah, I thought they set up like that. He's this big boxing guy. You think he'd pop somebody at some point, but
yeah. November 17th says, which do you prefer, season 4 in the same vein as season 3 or a Mulholland Drive series? Mulholland Drive series. I do not want a replay of season 3. Because even though I like season 3 a lot and love season 3 for a lot of it, it's too cold for me overall. I want Mulholland Drive. I feel emotion for those characters. I want to feel emotional for them. I don't want to just be kept at arm's length, analyzing every clue. Because I think season 4, we would approach our shows very differently going forward with the season 4. I don't think we would analyze them quite so much because we would be under the assumption that there wouldn't be a payoff. Because we always approach this stuff as from a storytelling point of view, they're setting this up to do this. Like you said, Bushnell Mullins set up to be this boxer. Sarah's watching this boxing match. We just get Freddie punching out a bomb ball. You know what I mean? It's nothing adds up story-wise like that.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of ideas and things that were set up that didn't, and maybe they got lost somewhere or they were completely chucked. But there's so much of that it mucks it up a little bit.
Gary says the most interesting thing about Hawk was his living map. I mean, that's a crazy concept. A living, breathing map that changes every time you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty wild. Oh, Twin Peaks Coffee Time says Battle and Bud. So I wasn't crazy. There was a Bud in there.
Okay, yeah.
Which name was Bud? I was like, why on earth am I thinking Bud? By the way, I just want you to know we're gaining viewers right now. Joey and I have been doing these shows for years, and we have almost the equivalent of what people would watch when Twin Peaks was in its heyday a few years ago.
What is happening?
The 84 says we are in withdrawal. That's why.
Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Let's see. Adamo says, all due respect, but what did the log lady serve Hawk any guidance at all with all her phone calls? Because it seems as though Hawk misses all important happenings, including the epic, crazy ending. Do you want to know I've said this before. I'll say something controversial. I know a lot of people will be very objectionable to this, and I understand.
Oh, boy.
I would take all the log lady scenes out. All of them.
No.
Listen. I would take them all out if I could have had log lady introductions before every episode.
Okay. I'm with you there. I think that's kind of what they were. They served as that a little bit, but
not really, because they're scattered throughout. I wanted because he went back and remastered all those into HD. I thought, wouldn't it be great if we still had her hosting the show through season 3?
I love those intros so much. I'm with you.
Okay, so I would have given up all those scenes to have her say similar things in front of each episode. So we would have had a consistent all the way through.
That would have been cool.
I mean, they pretty much were monologue scenes anyway, right? So
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, they were kind of. Yeah.
Twin Peaks Coffee Time says, when the real crap starts happening, Hawk is in the toilet or dismantling a door.
You find some extra sheets, though.
Yeah. That dude says, what if Bushnell was the one to punch Bob? That would have been cool. See, that would have been set up.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine
boxer punches.
Imagine if Freddy just socked Bob. Bob flew across the room in the ball, and then Bushnell just socked him from the other side of the room. And then Cooper comes in with the trifecta, and they could have done a shot of the punch going straight to the camera and exploding Bob.
They could have done a lot with that, Bob. I don't even want to.
All right, let's see. Strange Disturbance says, I want brand new thoughts. About what?
I mean, don't we all?
Because we're talking about the same show that we talked about 3 years ago. So we may go over similar things. Jesus. I can't even say that one, James. I'm not going to. Let's see. Sir not appearing on YouTube says, I wish we were living inside a dream. A lot of late scenes in season 3, we were lucky to get them before Catherine left us. Absolutely.
Sure.
94 says Jim Belushi was great.
I still think I want to see more Mitchums. If
you do?
Season 4 does come back. I do. I really like the Mitchum brothers.
Well, I like them too, but I think their arc is done. What else can we do with them?
I mean, you could always find out some more stuff. They could go on some kind of hijinks. They could be Cooper's lackeys. I don't know.
They could go to a bar called Wally's and meet Evelyn Marsh. That'd be cool. Mitchum brothers get tricked into murdering Evelyn's new husband. That would have been.
That's the third Mitchum.
See, that's something they should have done in season 3, right? They should have had Dougie in the casino at the bar, and he turns, and Evelyn's there and is trying to sucker him into murdering her new husband. And then they just drop it, and they never go with it. But just to have a nod that Evelyn Marsh is back out doing the same stuff.
Yeah, we need redemption for Evelyn. Come on, Lynch. Come on, Frost. Let's do this.
November 17th says, so how would you rate season 2? I give it an A. So I said this on Twitter the other day. I said season 1 of Twin Peaks is all killer and no filler. It's pretty perfect. I think that season 1 overall is the best season of Twin Peaks because it's so tight. It's so well put together. Mm-hmm. There's not a dull moment at all. But season 2 will always be my favorite season of Twin Peaks. Because while there are some issues here and there in season 2, it is the season where the show literally got wings and flew. Because it went big and bold and went places that season 1, as much as I love season 1 isn't ready to do quite yet.
There's no 2 seasons of Twin Peaks. I mean, we only have 3, but none of them are necessarily alike. They're almost 3 different shows.
Yeah, pretty much. But season 2 could not happen without season 1. You needed to set that template.
Well, yes.
You know, you could not do Bob killing Madeline in season 1. You just couldn't do it. Sorry. Let's see. So what would you give rating wise?
I'd also give season.
Let's do season 1, season 2, the movie, and season 3. What would you give season 1?
Season 1, I'd give an A.
Okay. Season 2?
Season 2, B+.
Okay.
Although it does set up all the mythology and the lore. Right. Fire Walk with Me, also B+. And I think I'd give The Return of B.
Okay. So, season 1, I'm going to give an A+. Season 2, I'm going to give an A. Fire Walk with Me theatrical cut is a B. Fan edit is A-.
Okay.
And season 3, I would give a B.
All right, so we're the same with.
Yeah, not even a B+. I would just give it a straight B.
Solid B.
Because whenever I go back and rewatch it again, maybe I'm just burnt out with it, but I don't find season 3. There's a lot of things I kind of fast forward through now. Like, there's a lot of great stuff in it, but there's just a lot of stuff that I just go, yeah, I don't need to sit through all that. All right, let's go to the next.
That's fair. I'm trying to think of it as a whole. Like, as a whole, I'd give it a B. I mean, individual episodes, that's a different conversation, but
yeah, overall, I'm saying as a whole, and it very well could have been an A as well, and I'm sure it is an A for a lot of people. But I would give it. The reason why I give it as B is because there are things introduced that I wish were explored more, and I think that there are loose ends in there that I don't think needed to be loose ends. Like, not everything needs to be completely open-ended.
Yeah, some stuff just feels like a waste of time.
But everything seemed important when we were watching it the first time because we thought there'd be payoffs.
Absolutely. That's why it worked like that. That's why it worked that way. But then, in the grand scheme, a lot of that stuff did not work.
Yes. Ominous Witch says, I would have loved to have seen the Log Lady host another tea gathering like season 1. The fish aren't right. See, that scene is perfect in season 1. First of all, you get this amazing introduction with first of all, she comes out, it's really funny, right? About don't eat the cookies and all that stuff. But then she brings out the log, and Cooper is literally interrogating a log over tea and cookies. And yet, not one person I've ever shown the series to has ever said to me, what is this nonsense? Everybody is sucked in. Because the show has presented such a reality to it that you're like, Cooper's like, I'm going to entertain her. I'm going to talk to this log. But then at a certain point, Cooper literally says, man or girl? Like, he literally asked the log that question, and that music is perfect. And then to go from that moment to them walking through the woods while Julie Cruz Into the Night is in the distance playing, and at first you think, oh, cool, that's a beautiful song and it's great on the soundtrack, and then it turns out it's tied into Jacques Renault's cabin and the record playing over and over again, so it's echoing through the woods. You don't get more perfect than that. It's just perfect. It just makes me fall in love with that moment right now when I talk about it. Duda says, I recently rewatched The Sopranos. The dream episodes at the beginning of season 5 have a really lynching feel when Tony imagines himself as a traveling salesman. Nick would like Major Briggs recast as Donald Trump in future seasons. Ominous Whoosh says, laugh out loud, redemption for Evelyn. Why is that so funny? It's not funny. Is this Ominous Whoosh? Is this the Ominous Whoosh that's on Twitter? Is this the Ominous Whoosh, or is this just a YouTube channel, Ominous Whoosh? That's what I want to know.
It's the doppelganger.
Who is Ominous Whoosh? Tell me in the chat right now.
Who are you?
Who are you? Exactly. Nonsense.
Yes, justice for Evelyn. Or redemption for Evelyn.
Rob says, in the sense of first impact and WoW experience, I'd put season 1 and season 3 side by side. However, season 3 could have been much more rewatchable had it been more effective. Great stuff, but too much filler.
I agree.
Gary North says Bruce Willis should play Major Briggs. And Meadowlane says, hello, glad to be here again. Hello. Yeah, so we got a lot of people watching right now. So here's the thing. There's a lot of people watching right now. We thank you. We're so happy. But I know a lot of you are not subscribed to myself and Joey because you guys are here, and we don't hardly ever have this many people watching us live. So make sure to go to Joey's channel right here, YouTube, Joey Pedras.
Yep.
Give him a sub. And then, of course, make sure you subscribe to this channel and give us a big thumbs up as well. Also visit our Patreon, $1 a month. I'm telling people, Joey, for $1 a month, enough people sub, I could do O&A full time all day. That's right. From like 6 a.m. to like midnight every day. Maybe 5 days a week.
18-hour Twin Peaks talk of the days.
Every day, all day. Not all Twin Peaks. We talk about other things as well. Otherwise, I will be repeating the same thoughts over and over again. But yes, make sure to sub to all of us, please. And there's a lot of good people in the chat. Sub to their channels as well. Subbing is easy and free.
Sub party.
I'm like sub to like nearly 200 channels on YouTube. There's always something being uploaded.
I couldn't even tell you.
Twin Peaks Coffee Time says, it is the whoosh. I spoke to them before in the woods when I was relieving myself against a Douglas fir, and I saw an owl which said, we live inside a tree.
Jesus.
That is hilarious. Good Lord. Dying
over here.
Daddy just says Alfred Hitchcock could have played Major Briggs.
Yeah, they look civil.
Michael says, why should Gordon Cole remember an unofficial version? Very simple, so they can cross-reference. I mean, wouldn't you want someone to know what happened so they could, hey, you know. All right. Get out any last comments or questions because my voice is going to give, and I have a lot of things I got to do.
I'm hungry.
Oh, yeah. Joey was going to eat, too. Spaghetti?
No, not today. Actually, I was going to make spaghetti yesterday, but I didn't have any meatballs.
That's what it's all
so
about.
I didn't make spaghetti.
Not enough meatballs? I'm not going to eat spaghetti. Yeah, that's a question I had. You know what? If the Graceland event had gone forward, I probably would have called Graceland and gotten confirmation. What does that mean, all you eat spaghetti? Is that just noodles? Or is it like never-ending pasta meatballs and sauce too?
If it was meatballs, if there was meatballs and sauce too, then maybe it's worth $1,200.
I would have eaten so much meatballs and pasta sauce, I would have just exploded. I would have been.
Yeah, everybody would be vomiting red and look like those.
I would have been like Mr. C in the car, just with noodles and some. I'll tell you real quick. I was at a friend's house years and years ago when I was in high school. He was at a party. He drank a little much. I think he had some sort of spaghetti or fettuccine or something like that. But he went out to the balcony, threw up in the air, but it was windy. And so the noodle shot out of his mouth, but stayed in his mouth. And so it looked like an alien because it was like, and then I saw it suck back directly into his mouth. I thought I was in John Carpenter's The Thing for a second. And
Spaghetti Monster.
It was terrible. November 17th says, when are we going to start the season 1 watch-alongs? Here's the thing. I was going to start them October 1st. I don't think I'm going to be starting them October 1st. I think I'll be editing Queen of Hearts for a while. I thought it would be going a little more faster, but I didn't contemplate having a 2-year-old in the house like all day and all night. So it's going a little slower than usual, but so I probably won't start the watch-alongs right on October 1st, but hopefully a little bit later. But we'll do it. We'll definitely do them this year, and so that'll be a lot of fun. Yeah. Oh, and then for anyone we've already lost like 10 viewers, so they're gone. So I wasn't gonna. So there goes my announcement. Adamo says, unlike season 3, season 1 and 2's music was so effective and mesmerizing, it was like an actual effective main character. Well, yeah. I mean, there was music in every frame of season 1 and 2.
Absolutely. I honestly don't think I would have liked Twin Peaks as much if it didn't have that music.
Oh, that music was beautiful. Yeah. Rob says, whose storyline would you have left out completely from season 3 as to make it a bit more focused and less slow? Very simple. Stephen and Becky and Kirsten.
Stephen and Becky. I'm on the same page. That
Absolutely.
was
Lift the whole thing up. If it wasn't a character situation, let's say I had to leave Stephen, Becky, and Kirsten, then I want all the Roadhouse scenes gone. All the booth scenes, I mean.
Okay. There's some good music there, so.
Not the music, the booth scenes. Take them all out. All of them. Ominous Whoosh says, I'm not the one on Twitter. Sorry, I'm about 5 minutes behind. Then you're a thief. You stole their persona. I'm kidding. Ominous Wishes. I didn't know there was on Twitter. Yes, they got a big presence. They're everywhere on Twitter. I thought you were the one.
I think the other one is Ominous Whooshing.
Oh, it is?
Believe so. I don't remember.
Okay. Well, maybe you didn't steal their persona then. I forgive you. Metal Lane says Laura Palmer's theme is, and the variations are just magical. Absolutely. I mean, I get lost every time I listen to that music. I love it so much.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, Joey, let's wrap this up because we both have things to do. Here's how you can find Joey on YouTube and Twitter. Tell people a little bit about your channel and what you're planning on doing. I know you're trying to expand into some new stuff, new shows.
Yeah, I'm doing a good mix of stuff, seeing what people like. There's a lot of stuff like this, discussions about certain things. I do Twin Peaks, a bit of DC stuff. There's a lot of Batman stuff going on. I touch on some entertainment news as well. There's little videos, short films, and comedy stuff. Depending on what your perception is, but
you are gonna do what we did for season 3. I think. Let me throw out 2 cents. I think for your channel, you're gonna have to do the Justice League breakdowns week by week for those 6
I am
weeks.
Planning on it. I am definitely planning on doing the Justice League Snyder Cut, week to week break.
6 weeks. No, 4 weeks. 4 weeks.
4. Yeah.
Yeah. But still, that will be pretty awesome.
We'll probably, it doesn't come out till next year, but we'll probably do, I'll compare and contrast to the theatrical one and see what was different and what they added.
Full DC, start with Man of Steel and work through all the DC films as a watch along until you get to the Snyder Cut.
Hey, if anybody's interested in that, subscribe to the channel. Let me know.
Man of Steel, we can do that. BVS, Suicide Squad.
They're all up there. I have all of them.
Wonder Woman, Justice League, Aquaman, Shazam.
And Birds of Prey.
And Birds of Prey. Yeah. Yeah, that could be fun.
It's a very mixed bag of movies, quality wise. So
I know, but
be interesting.
But because they were so underdogs, I kind of was rooting for them. Because I was like,
that's how I was.
I was like, just knock it out of the park. Just knock it out of the park. But then with Joker, they hit that $1 billion mark with the Oscars. So,
yep.
Gary says definitely keep making those videos about DC. It's gonna get major traction. Once Justice League gets closer, it's gonna.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get Google and YouTube to recognize my channel as like kind of more, it's a reliable DC source. So because when Twin Peaks was out, both of our channels, like you'd search Twin Peaks and both of our channels would appear in Google and like right at the top of YouTube. So you kind of have to game the system a little bit by putting out a bunch of stuff.
Right. And I'm excited because I think that your channel is going to explode in the next year or so with all this. Just stay on the DC train for a while. Just keep putting so that the algorithm, of course, will recognize your videos and that.
Yeah, but then when Twin Peaks season 4 comes out or something, it's not gonna. I'm gonna have to reset again. Maybe
I'm telling you, when Twin Peaks season 4 comes out, I'm done. I'm not gonna do any shows on it. I'm not. Just gonna go. I'm gonna go underground. Not even gonna acknowledge it. I'm just gonna be like, I'm done.
Sure.
Season 3 was the ending. I'm done.
Not convinced at all.
Yeah, you shouldn't be. Okay, so here is my channel. Follow us on social media and join the Patreon. And I'm working on my own project, which I'm really happy about. I'm sure everybody knows about it by now. If you've been following this channel at all, I think you know all about it.
What project is that?
Well, I'm actually doing a remake of the Blair Witch Project, and you didn't hear about this?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So it's called Queen of Hearts, a Blair Witch Project fan film.
Okay.
Anyway, so but no, I'm working hard on it. It's taking forever, I know, but it is what it is. But it's going to be cool. It's going to be awesome. But I have to take my time with it because I have a 2-year-old. I'm working at home. My wife wants to see me once in a while, and I try to make these videos like keep this channel going because I thought, well, I'll take a break. So I'll take a break until October. That was my whole thing. I'll just take a few months off, but then it was like I can't because then the algorithm completely forgets about your channel. So you have to like keep it somewhat current. So I found myself doing these videos, which is great. I love it, but trying to balance everything and all that. And then with the whole conventions things happening, I'm like going crazy with all the chaos happening in the world, and I'm taking it all in, and it's just like it's ridiculous what's happening right now. So anyway, anything you can do to keep us in your thoughts and support our channels, very much appreciated. And so we're gonna do the watch along as soon as we can, but I think you guys really want me to finish Queen of Hearts and before we start that, and it's gonna be cool. I mean, I like everything I'm seeing so far. It's not all done, obviously, but I am liking what I'm seeing so far, and I think it's going to be really cool, and I think you guys are going to be very happy. Like I said, whether you like it, whether you don't like it, I don't know. I think you'll be happy it at least exists. and you'll know that a lot of hard work went into it. So thank you again for everything. So there it is. All right. So we are done for the day. Thank you so much for chiming in and keeping us company, talking our favorite show and all that. And it's always a pleasure. And make sure to help out Maya's dog if you have the abilities. So, all right. Take it easy. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
See you later.